Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Angel Queen. This is Angel Queen's Triumph. And today I am going to be taking off this doorknob because this one locks, and this is to the walk-in closet. I need this to be on my door that leads outside of here. So when I say outside of here, I mean outside of the room. Excuse me for walking through. Alright, maybe on this side of it so I can do this. Yeah, I don't know why a lock is put on the closet door, but not on the door leading, like I said, to outside of here, outside of the bedroom. But I'm about to rectify that issue. Now, I was told that when I came in here, I'm not supposed to be doing things like making adjustments to the place without permission. But I think this is not an adjustment that's not worthy of just doing without permission. I don't understand why it's even here anyway. I don't need to lock this closet if I'm in the room. This is funny because the lady who did my interview, I guess she kind of runs this particular place. Anyway, as she was going over the lease with me for a second time, by the way, I had to sign a lease. So now they have one there in the office with Mr. Washington in my file signed, and then they have or she has the one I signed with her. I, on the other hand, got something sent to me via email that can't be read, so I'll call her later on today and tell her that I'm gonna need her to send that again, and this time in a format that I can change to PDF because for whatever reason I can't change the format, and it just is a bunch of gibble gob. There's nothing there but a bunch of letters and numbers and symbols and all of that. And I don't know what the heck she sent. It was supposed to be a copy of the lease. So technically, I could just have a copy of it sent to me, paper form, and that's what I prefer, as opposed to it being on my email. So that's what I'm going to request. So anyway. Excuse me again. Yeah, sometimes I don't know what people are thinking when they do things, but that's neither here nor there. Alright, so what happened to me yesterday? I walked to Dollar General and I had done a video, and for whatever reason, there was no sound. So I nixed, of course, that video. Alright, then I nixed that video and did another one when I got back. But then I said, you know what? I'll do this one instead. Alright, and you see there's no knob. Give me a second, let me turn this away. Yeah, so as you can clearly see, there's no lock on this one. And this is the one that leads, like I said, outside of the bedroom. So go figure, because that door next to me, which is going to be somebody else's room if she ever does find somebody to put in here, that has a lock on it. So, I don't know. And she did say something. Oh, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah, so she did say something about it. She was telling me that if she ever has to have somebody come out here to fix something to hide my unmentionables. I don't think she understands that unmentionables are underwear, but I think she meant valuables. But anyway, my valuables, if I'm in this room, would be in that closet there, and therefore someone would have to come into this room and go in that closet. You feel me? But if I have the door locked and I'm in here, who's gonna come in here and get anything that's of value? Because when I go out, I take that with me. Of course, it's got my money and stuff in it. Why wouldn't I take it with me? So, kind of not sure what she meant by that, but I won't necessarily have a key to the door or anything like that. But at least when I'm in here, if she was to come through, like she said, she could just walk in, you know. Um, she doesn't have to call before coming. She doesn't have to do any of that, especially if she was to be showing somebody that room next door that would be moving in or anything like that. But I don't like the fact that I can't lock my bedroom door. That doesn't make sense. But I can lock my closet. Yeah, no. This might have been a mistake that they did, and then just decided, hey, we're not gonna fix it. You know, oops, put the wrong doorknob on. Oh well. Yeah, well, good thing that I know how to do some things with common sense. You know, don't get it twisted. I can do a lot. Um, like I fixed the cart. I bought some. I told you guys I bought some welding stuff, and I fixed the cart because it's one wheel, and I would really hate to have to go out and buy a whole another part at some point in time when I do have to eventually go and do my groceries at Publix. That's a 22-minute walk there and back. And now, although I used to be able to do a 45-minute walk when I was over at mom's place and about an hour walk with massive amounts of groceries on my person and book bags and those tote bags that I have, all that. I used to be able to do all of that. But for whatever reason now, I can't. Therefore, um, it's a problem. So I need the shopping cart. So I fixed the shopping cart. All right, now let's take all of these parts. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go put these in the closet. And then I'm going to put the other one I'm switching out over here. So I'll be right back in 2 seconds. Focus. Okie dokie, I'm back. So let's take this one and put it on. Lines up perfectly too. Good. First things first before I do anything else. It's always best to test things first before making the final. Before making the final. Perfect. You see how fast this is? Doesn't take a genius. I mean, well, maybe it does take a genius. I wouldn't know. For me personally, common sense, basically. That's how I look at things. Common sense pretty much can solve a whole lot of problems. I notice people don't like to use it, but really, it comes in handy when doing things. You don't always have to call somebody in for small projects, even if you weren't taught how to do these things. This is not something like I sat down with my dad and he changed doorknobs, or even with my ex, my youngest son's father does stuff like this. Like he took my literally took my doorknob off in order to get into the room to throw away all my stuff when I was in Queens. He literally, instead of just doing what I'm doing now, well, the door was locked when I walked out, but he somehow got the doorknob off and then totally like shredded. And when I say shredded, he shredded the doorknob to take it off. And it was literally in spiral sheaves, like where you can, like it was in spiral sheaves because he, I don't know what he did. I guess he drilled it off or um, cut it. He had to have cut it off somehow. But anyway, when I got back, yeah, that doorknob was done for. There was no way in hell that I was ever going to use that doorknob for a different place. But I wasn't the one who installed it either. The dude I was talking to at the time installed it for me and actually paid for it too. So it wasn't like it was a big loss to me or anything, you know. But the fact that he even went that far as to do all of that made no sense to me. I'm like, what in the heck was that for? I mean, for him to be a mechanic and doing all that kind of work, it was just really strange to me that he took that route to take the doorknob off. Oh well. Hey, Sarah, Sarah. Oh, that's right. Hey, Sarah, Sarah, honey. Whatever will be as they say will be. I know he probably thought he was hurting my feelings in some kind of way by doing that, but in actuality, in all truth, he was like, I didn't pay for it, bro. So it didn't cut into my money. Now all of my belongings, that part, that's that part right there. You know what I mean? That part right there. Now that did absolutely fuck with me. Let me take this back out. That did fuck with me. I'm not even gonna front and try to play myself or lie about it. That was all of my kids' things. My daughter gave me something that, you just can't get certain things back. You know what I mean? So that part there, yeah, he got me on that one. Not even gonna front. Not going tough on that. I don't care about birth certificates and social security cards. All those things can be bought back or gotten back, and it was going to need to be gotten back anyway because I moved down here. But it was the originals that my mom signed. You know what I mean? So yeah, he got that one. But God is good, you know. God is good all the time. I got that stuff back. It's not the original. I will never have my original immunization card, of course, back. But the thing about that is, even though he did that, and even though it's not stuff that I can get back, it's material items. You know what I mean? So that's how I have to look at it. It's material thing. It's not like, oh yeah, I need that to breathe or eat or survive. You know what I'm saying? So okay, you took it, you got it, whatever. Either you still have it, keeping it as your own personal memorabilia, or you threw it away. But whatever, it is whatever. I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk. My life has gotten nothing but better over time. And another thing I had noticed, because I was saying to myself, yeah, I had to be in a family shelter without children, because I was in a family shelter in Queens without my son. I explained this in my video when I was over at this place with all these guys. So, anyways, yeah, so I had to be in the shelter with like children, women and children, and then turn around and I was in the shelter with guys. And prior to leaving New York and coming out here to Florida, I had to, or not had to, but I left the shelter when my son, that I was in the family shelter with, went ballistic and had to leave and got put in a psychiatric hospital. And they were telling me, oh yeah, you can stay, until they find out what they're gonna do with your son. And I was like, oh okay, cool, whatever. But then my estranged husband on some trickery, was like, oh, you can come stay with me, and I got two roommates, but they won't bother you, blah blah blah. He didn't tell me that, of course, I was going there to help make some chick jealous that he had been effing with. And so I get there, and she's there on and off. She didn't live there, but she would come there because she was screwing all three of the dudes that was in there. And at the time when I came, she was with his roommate Sam. And then she was, or I think before I got there, she used to be with the dude named Junior. And so, and of course, she had been with my husband. And so, that's what I was actually brought there for, was to make that chick jealous. I didn't, of course, know that at the time, but that's what it was. But then over this chick and over me, this fool got locked up. I didn't get him locked up. He got locked up because he threatened both Junior, which was an old Jamaican dude, and Sam, which was the guy, and they were also a foreigner. He was also a foreigner that I don't know where from them. But yeah, he had threatened that dude too. Okay, going on number one done. Yeah, he threatened that dude too, so it became a real serious problem. And at the time when he was threatening Junior, which was the old Jamaican guy, okay, that didn't work. Yeah, dude. Oh yeah, dude. All right. Anyways, let's take this off again. I'll put it upside down. Anyway, yeah. So he had threatened Junior because Junior was coming on to me, and he wasn't coming on to me in any kind of strong way or anything. He was just telling me, asking me why I was with my husband, and telling me he could take care of me better and all sort of stuff. And they were all drunk except for Sam. Sam wasn't drunk. Junior was drunk. The chick was there, and my husband came out and said some really fucked up shit about how he would throw this chick up on the counter and eat her out in front of me. And I was just like, okay, go ahead, do what you got to do. Because if I'm honest about it, like I said before, I wasn't in love with my husband. I still am not. I didn't love him. I didn't care for him like that. So to me, that really didn't bother me. What bothered me was the fact that he was just disrespecting me. That's what bothered me. And so Junior kept saying how he could take care of me and didn't understand why I was with my husband and all this other nonsense and why I was taking whatever was going on. And that's why, because if you don't love somebody, you're not going to be affected by what they're saying. And so push comes to shove, my husband screaming at Junior, saying how, he'll kick his ass if he keeps on talking and all this other stuff. And he goes in the room and literally starts punching Junior on his legs. Like I said, Junior was an older guy, like past his 50s. So for my husband to be hitting him like that in his legs, that was really fucked up. But Junior just sat there because, of course, he's drunk. He's laughing and thinking the whole thing is a fucking joke. And Sam comes out of the room and picks up his phone and says, I'm calling the police. And once he said that, my husband walked over to Sam. Sam was a really skinny, slight dude, probably about 5'8", nothing but bones, maybe 100 and I would say 50 pounds soaking wet. And my husband, 6'4", like 180 something pounds. So he walks over to Sam and picks him up by his neck and pins him up on the wall. Well, eventually the girl is telling him to let Sam go. He lets Sam go, and Sam calls the police, or had already called them. They show up. Now my husband's trying to act like me and him are a fucking item. Trying to get me to feel some kind of fucking way at the time. And I'm sitting here like, dude, after what you just said, like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So anyway, he gets locked up. And amazingly enough, Junior posts his bail. But before he can get out, I'm out of there. So I go to my mom's. And while I'm at my mom's, I'm only there for like a couple of days, literally, like maybe 3 days at the most. before my youngest son's father calls me, telling me how ACS is going to take our son and this, that, and the third, and I end up over there with that bastard. But as you can clearly see, um, I go from having to deal with my husband's bullshit to dealing with my youngest son's father and my youngest son's bullshit. And then I didn't even get a chance to be in that apartment, in my mom's spot for like any amount of time. She has a co-op and in Staten Island. I wasn't even there for very long before that shit happened. And the next thing you know, now I'm over at my youngest son's father's house, apartment, going through shit with my son. And that was a problem. That was a whole another fucking set of fucking issues. As you guys know, I went from having to get rid of his female friend that he had upstairs. They used to be in a relationship. Well, let me break that whole story down. He used to be screwing her mom when he was 16, and the girl's mom was, I think, in her 30s. He used to be screwing her, but he wanted the girl. He wanted Paul. That's short for Pauline. He wanted her. But she didn't want him because, according to her, she wasn't into black dudes. And so he was screwing her mom when he was 16. Fast forward to him ending up in a relationship with her, the girl now, because she needed some place to go. Saying her boyfriend at the time was beating up on her and all this. And this is during the time when he was already married to Serene, which is his youngest child's mom. And so I don't know what happened with that situation. All I know is he ended up with her instead of Serene. And he was married to Serene, probably still is, but I guess he did whatever he did to get rid of her so that he could be with Pauline. So now enter Pauline in the situation. When I get there, I got rid of Pauline, although I was just making it difficult for her because of the chaos that was going on around my son. And so eventually she left, but she married a black dude. And that drove my son's father loopy like a motherfucker. Like, he really lost his fucking mind over that. Now, mind you, he was claiming that we were a family, myself, our son, and him, and my other son. Um, and so, yeah, he was doing all this claiming that we were a family while he was running to this chick's job, trying to make her jealous, and she wasn't jealous because she already had a man. And I mean, he was really going to try to sabotage her. He was saying he was going to tell her boyfriend that or fiance that they screwed and all that, when in fact that was all over with. Like, she really just never wanted to be with him. But he was making it so difficult. Now, do I think it's right what she did to him? Of course not. I don't think it's right for a woman or a man to do anybody dirty like that. But at the same time, she was using him, he was trying to use her. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? My thing was, I came to help my son and ended up in the middle of all this shit. And then once she was gone, it was just like, yeah, let me go to this next chick I knew from high school, from high school or from back when we were younger and all this. And that's when this other woman comes in that used to be the best friend of the woman that I just got rid of. And so it was just like, so much chaos. But anyway, I digress. That was how the situation went down. I never finished doing anything in any of these places. I end up, my youngest son's father ends up taking him to go live with this woman now, and my youngest son ends up going willingly on my birthday at that. And so it was like, you know what? I'm spending my time running around trying to help everybody to get their shit together, fixing their problems, and all in all, I'm being shitted on through the whole process. And now I see why God has put me through this particular situation that I'm in now is because I never got a chance to be out on my own. Like, the last time I was on my own for any amount of time I don't even want to say I was on my own because I wasn't. It was never. I lived with my mom up until I was 16. Left there, went into all kinds of psychiatric hospitals, and I just was in all kinds of places. Some at some point, trying to stay with this man, that man, and the third because I was in a relationship with them. But when I say stay with them, I mean like being in a relationship with them, not being comfortably in an apartment somewhere. Just being in relationships and being on the street and being, just never comfortable. Never any man saying, hey, I want your comfort I want comfort for you, or I want you to be somewhere safe with me. It was never that. It was always me getting my own shit together, getting my own place, and then some dude moving in with me and fucking up everything that I had. But I had to learn the hard way. If I stopped doing that, letting men move in with me, trying to take care of them and act like, I'm nobody's mama and the kids I gave birth to. But you know how we women are. We take in strays and think, well, I'm going to do him, take care of him and he'll love me. Yeah, right. No, that's not how that works. I'm going to take care of him and he's going to use me. And that's how that works. So I learned my lesson through that. But what I had never done was literally stay 100% by myself, no man. And that's what this is. This is that stop that I made at my mom's co-op where I would have been 100% completely alone without a man, without children. And that's what this is. That's what this stop is right here. Now, before I screw this last screw in, let me just make sure I put that in right this time. Good. Nope. Not good. So it's got to be this type now. Okay, so it wasn't even that. That wasn't even the problem. It was this. This is not the one for this. So let me take this off, put it on that door. Yeah, so, but sometimes that's just how it is, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's just how it is. You learn a lesson. God has shown up every single time I've done something stupid, like letting somebody in my life when I should be getting my shit together, trying to take care of somebody else before taking care of myself. And what it led to was me being treated like secondhand citizen, you know, treated like a piece of garbage that could be thrown away like my things. And I've learned that trying to help somebody else before helping me never made any sense. Screwed my whole life up for a minute there. Then I had to go to mom's house, deal with that crap, finally fix that situation, and my nephew pops up. So it was like, yo, nah, I'm good now. Lesson learned. Lesson learned. So I'm starting over, and this is my life now. The way I said it before I left New York when I was texting my children while I was at the women's shelter out there, I texted my children and told them when I got out here it was going to be about me. And even then, it wasn't because I was still on my mom. And then dealing with my children from afar. You know what I'm saying? So now, for real, it's about me. Now for real, it's about me. Now let's shoot that. Makes perfect sense. This one. Because, I mean, even if it blocks perfect, well, they might not push, but I'm pretty sure. Well, you know what? It's gonna kill me. It's on. Fuck it. It's on there. Who cares? There's a lock on the door, and if a person was to first turn it without pushing, I'll fix that anyway. I'll get it fixed eventually. But anyhow, yeah, so had I just stayed on my own at my mom's co-op and worked on getting my own spot and all that, I could have avoided a whole lot of things, especially my heart condition. I could have absolutely avoided that. Had I stayed in that family shelter, they would have put me in another possible shelter anyway. Um, a single woman shelter, they would have done that probably anyway. So at the end of the day, I really didn't save myself drama. I actually caused more drama by doing what I did. So I should have just initially stayed there at the family shelter, let them help me find a single woman shelter. And by now, I'd probably be in my own spot, still in New York. But because I made the decisions instead of letting God guide me, that's what happened. That's what happens when you try to make decisions outside of what God's plan is for you. But I had to go the long route. 5 years later, almost 5 years later, I'm about to do me the rest of the way. But I've been doing all of these trips and everything that I've been going through absolutely without any man or any child, and I've been fine. So this is the first time I've literally ever been. Okay, whatever. This is the first time I've ever been literally out on my own, 100%, without anybody, without mom, without siblings, without children, without a man, without a friend, all of it, 100%, all by myself. And I must admit, it's not bad at all. Seriously, it's not bad at all. Really, it's not. I thought I would be scared to do it. I thought I wouldn't be able to do it. I thought a lot of stupid things, to be honest. I really did. I thought a lot of stupid things. And now, now that I see that I am capable of doing these things by myself, the fear is 100% gone. And I'm happy. I'm dead serious. I'm happy. Yes, you do. Now this one closes all the way, so I don't know. But anyhow, yeah. So that's the deal, y'all. That was the whole plan all along. Was I needed to be able to be on my own and stop with this whole I'm scared to be on my own deal. And I need somebody with me through everything, be it my kids or a man, because I never said I needed my mom to go through anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I need to be with my mom. I never said that. But when I was out on my own, I either needed to be with some guy or I had to have a child. But never just 100% being alone. And now that I am, I think I need to put more on that. I need to turn this around. Now that I am, I'm fine. I'm absolutely positively fine. I wish I would have known this about myself a long time ago. But what's the saying? You live and you learn. You live and you learn. I learned. I definitely learned that I am capable of doing this, everything, by myself. I mean, when I say by myself, not without God, but, by myself, without another human being. I need God through all of it. I always did. Just didn't know it. And even when I did know it, I turned away from it, you know. When God was like, hey, here I am, I was like, no, thank you. I got this. And even when I did go to God, I wasn't genuine because I still let a man dictate what was going to happen. And as a human being, dictate how my life should be, you know? Instead of saying, God, what do you think? And I was in my Bible then. I mean, I was really deep in my Bible. But I might have been in the Word and opening the book and reading the words, but I wasn't letting God guide me anywhere or do anything. My prayers were empty promises, empty prayers, empty begging for stuff that I know truly I didn't really want or actually need, but just begging God for things. And the more I didn't get it, the more I was angry at God. Like, you're not listening to me. No, I'm listening to you, but I'm not giving you what the heck you think you want because you're messing up. You're not listening to me. you know? That's what that was. And I'm over there cursing God out. You don't care about me. You never did. You let this happen to me. Yeah. And the entire time God was like, listen, dummy, I'm trying to guide your dusty butt and you don't want to listen, but you want to keep blaming me for all the problems. Well, I'm not your problem. I'm actually your solution. And if you'd shut up long enough and listen and pay attention to what I'm trying to say, you would have already been all right. And so now, when I left Mom's house, I was like, God, this is all you. Guide me. That's when that video where you see that rainbow on my vanity table. That's when it all happened. That's when it all happened. When I said, God, this is all you. Even that decision to make the call to path. God, do you want me to make that call to path? Yes, I do. Here's the rainbow. That's your sign. It's always been your sign. And here you go. Do it. Do what you got to do. Go where you're supposed to be going. Follow the path I send you on. Because the path is going to be you finishing up what I started to have you do when you was there for you to learn your lesson. So, all right, guys, we're done with that. And so that's what I did. And ta-da! Now this one closes, which doesn't make sense. This one closes fine. Yeah, you see? That closes fine. I don't understand. Maybe it's not meant for me to be locked up in this one. Because this one won't do it. I'll tighten it. Let me see if maybe tightening some things might help. Not that it needs to be tightened. But anyways, yeah, guys. So you see? So do you see now? When God has a plan, go with God's plan. Just go with God's plan. Don't go with your own plan unless you know for sure God has signed off on it. That's all that is. If you don't know that God has signed off on it, don't do it. Let's think that this is the plan here. I think I know what the issue is. I think I know what it is. This is too far out. That's not going to slide into the little space. It closes up all quick. Y'all see my false hope for a second there? Okay, I did get it. Alright, cool. I know what it is. It's not lifted up to do it. I have to lift it up like that. But hey, bottom line is it closes and locks. Dudes, that's what I wanted. Alright, so let me tighten up. Now that I know what to do. Yay! My door now can be locked on the inside. That's all I want. Okay, let's try again. Yeah. Cool. Done. So anyway, you see guys, that's how God works. In every aspect of your life. I know I'm looking horrible. I finally got some proper sleep because I will give ZQuil Pure Z's melatonin plus chamomile and lavender a billion thumbs up. This stuff works. It works on me. Plain melatonin? Nope. Lavender plug-in, Airwick plug-in. Between those two things, and yes, 2 Advil PMs, way less than 8. 2 Advil PMs puts me to sleep. I woke up at 7 o'clock. I went to bed before 9. I mean, I woke up before 7. I woke up before or at 6 and went to bed before 9. So when I tell you that this stuff works, it works. I'm not advocating for them. I'm not, what do they call that? I don't even remember what they call that. Endorsing, I'm not endorsing them or anything. I wasn't paid to say anything about these people. But ZQuil works. When I bought it the first time when I was at mom's, went to sleep, woke up, not cranky, not aggravated, not anything. Got more than enough sleep. Not just 4 hours, sometimes 6, sometimes 8. I'm happy. I'm happy with that. So anyway, that's what I went to the store to get besides the screwdriver so that I can do that door knob. But that's my story, guys. That's how God works. Y'all understand that? Women's shelter, family shelter out here. Living with men out here. And now on my own out here. So that was the path. That's what I was supposed to finish. That's what I'm finishing. And I'll be here 6 months. No visitors can be here, not even my own mama. I'm gonna be here by myself outside of whatever staff comes that has to deal with me, take me places and whatever, that kind of thing. But outside of that, I am 100% in here alone. And this lady telling me that she's not anticipating putting somebody next door anytime soon. So even if I here 3 months by myself, you know, one way or another, I'm by myself with God alone. That's how we do this. That's how we're going to be doing this. So listen up, people. God is real. God has a plan. He has a path He wants you on. Get on that path. Do not let the devil tell you to go this way because it's a shortcut, because that shortcut's going to lead you down to hell. It's going to lead you to a place you do not want to be. You're not going to want to be there. You're going to stay there because you're forced to stay there. You're going to stay there either for financial purposes, for children, for some person who's claiming they care about you who don't. You're going to stay there for so many reasons other than what God wants you to do. God wants you to leave, so 9 times out of 10, He's going to take people out of your life who don't need to be in your life. And you might even think, like, oh, but that's my child. Well, if your child is old enough to take care of themselves, should be out on their own, and you're still struggling to make sure that you're taking care of all their needs, and you're going through hell and they're not trying to help themselves at all, trust and believe me, God wants that child out of your life. Not in a bad way. He wants you to go a different route. Help that child, maybe find other, sources out there in the world that'll help. But He wants you, male or female, mother or father, to let that child find its own way, like I am doing with my soon to be 21-year-old son who decided at 17 I'm going with dad because dad's making my life easier. See ya. See ya. I've spent 2 years trying to convince you, trying to show you what your father is truly about when it comes to you. You don't care. Listen, by the time he turned 18, that's legally an adult. And now he'll be 21. And I haven't heard from him since he was 17. So, do you, boo? Do you? You'll have to find that path. I trust me, I love my kids. I'll kill a person over my children. I ain't even trying to lie to you. But if you're an adult and you're making that choice to do those things, to be that person, to go that route, and you don't want any assistance, you don't want any help, you don't want to hear nobody, you just my dad knows the way with his pocketbook, with his cash, his wallet, whatever. My dad knows the way and how I should live because of his moolah. Well then do you, baby. Do you. Do you. I'm sorry, but what can I do? I've tried. And people were before, oh, you could have went to court. Went to court for what? He was about to turn 18 and decide when he turns 18, I'm gonna stay with my dad. Go to court for what? For him to decide that after going to court? I don't think so. Because that's what he was gonna do. He was gonna go with his father regardless of what I said or what he saw or what he knew. He was going to go with his father. So the last of my babies, but you're not a baby anymore. That's what I tell all my kids. You're all my babies, but you're not a baby anymore. So the youngest one is about to be 21, October 22nd. That's next month. So no, I wasn't going to set myself on fire after burning for so long trying to fix whatever issues was going on there at their place. I did keep him out of ACS and literally had to go back and call ACS. Like, really, think about that. I got ACS off his back and then had to turn around and call ACS myself after what I've been through with ACS. That's the worst people to have to call. So that shows you how desperate I was. That shows you how desperate I was. Those same people took 3 of my children and gave them to somebody else after they sent me to do all kinds of stuff. But they gave my kids to those people anyway after I accomplished everything they told me to do. So for me to call ACS on my own child, well, actually, I called him on his father, but on my child, that had to be a desperation move. And it was a desperation move. And I lost the whole battle. So it was meant for me not to be there doing what I was trying to do. That wasn't where God wanted me. That's not what God wanted me to do. And therefore, that's how it played out. But I've talked long enough. This is almost an hour in. But I hope you guys watch this video and really understand that when God sets you on a path, there is a reason for it. You are going to come out beautifully on the other side. Just go with what he tells you to do. Do not deviate. And if you even think, well, this way seems a little too easy, that is the devil. When God sends you through something, there is going to be some difficulties in it because he's showing you that you are strong enough and he knows you are strong enough to get through what he's sending you through. So go through the hard part. Do not take that easy road. That easy road is going to get you. All right, guys. Please like, share, subscribe. Check out this video and other videos that I have posted. And I will see y'all soon. Love all y'all. Oh, by the way, give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. All right? Like, share, subscribe. Do all of that. Love ya.